Recording in progress.
Right, cool. Hello, Total Movie Recall, episode 4. I've got Badger here with me, reoccurring guest. How's it going, Badger?
Who is Jiggy in the world of Mr. El Pajero? Good stuff. How you doing?
I like it. I'm doing well, man. I'm doing good. I recently just went to see Doctor Strange 2. Went on a solo mission.
How was it?
It was okay.
Okay, I still haven't checked out yet. And I'm a big Sam Raimi fan, so I'm a bit nervous.
Well, that's why I brought it up. Sam Raimi, being the horror legend that he is, this is what this episode is going to be about. It's horror themed. We're going to go through 20 films each. So it's probably going to be a really long episode.
Look, as I said, I'm going to try and simplify most of my points because I don't want to keep yammering on. But yeah, it was, when you brought this up, I was like, oh, this is my forte, man. It's not that horror is my favorite genre. It's just that so many horror films have inspired me, like as a writer. And like that just got me gassed, just thinking about it all. So yeah, it was quite hard though, man, coming up with this. It was difficult, but I think I got it nailed.
Well, we were originally going to do 10 films each, but I think as we start getting into it, we realised now we've got 20 films each in us. It's quite difficult, but I got there in the end. I've got some honourable mentions as well. I think what we're going to do is we'll state our honourable mentions, get them all out. Just before we get in, a little bit of a disclaimer on my list. So I haven't included any Alien or Predator films because to me they're like, well, we didn't speak about this beforehand, right? But I haven't included them just because, for one, I feel like I mention them quite a lot and I feel like they will get brought up in other lists as we go on. I wanted to like dedicate this list to like strictly sort of horror. There is some sci-fi horror in there. But we could do a whole episode on sci-fi horror, and it's arguably one of my favorite subgenres. Can't speak, but yeah, man. So I just wanted to get that in there beforehand. They're obviously sublime films, but I wanted to talk about some different films, man. So
fair enough.
These are films that. Hang on, I just get my list.
I was about to leave then, dude. I was about to leave you on your Todd right there all by yourself. I was going to bail on you. Like, what are you smoking?
I was speaking to my girlfriend beforehand and I was like, look, I can't put Alien again. Like it I think I've spoke about it the last 3 episodes. So I just left them off.
Nothing wrong with that.
They're my favorite. I know, but come on, they're some of my favorite films. But I just thought for this one, keep it sort of quote unquote strictly horror. And I think people are going to like lose their minds over some of my honourable mentions, but hey ho, I don't care. It's my list.
So, dude, if they can't handle it, then I'd say they need to sort themselves out, mate.
Right, I'm just going to rattle through my honourable mentions really quick. Then I think how we're going to do it is, just so you all know, we'll go 5 each, then do it like that, yeah?
Sounds good to me, big man. Sounds good to me.
Honourable mentions, I'm just going to rattle them off. We've got number 1, Silent Hill.
Good film.
Solid film. Couldn't make the list, but I really like that film. Haven't played the games, but is from what I know from fans of the games, it's quite faithful. And I think it's a pretty creepy movie. Atmosphere is really good in it. Some dodgy CGI, but it's fine. Another one, Orphan. I don't know if you've seen Orphan. It's early 2000s. It's pretty good, man. It's like, you would think it was, well, the premise is quite generic, but it's got a good little twist in it that I think still holds up.
So good.
Yeah, it's great,
good.
Man.
Yeah, wait. I think it was late 2000s, wasn't it? Like 2008, 2009? I think it was.
Possibly,
something
yeah.
Like
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Wonderful film, though, man. Yeah, great twist. Never saw that coming.
No, neither did I. Solid film.
Remarkable child performance as well. Remarkable child performance. Remarkable.
Yeah, I think it's like from initial view of the film, you think it's just going to be like a generic, like spooky child film, child's haunted, whatever. But it's actually a bit more than that. It's pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Number four, I think. Number four, I don't know. I'm not numbering these anymore. Hostel. That's honorable mention. Eli Roth. That's the first one. Hostel. We've got another one, Cube, which is a late 90s film. Quite low budget, quite B-movie-esque, but it's crying out for a remake, I think. I think if someone was to get hold of it now, they would make it pretty compelling. I think the only thing that suffers with it is the effects, but that's a very of its time problem. Moving on. Yeah.
Such a film.
The Shining. Oh, I know people will be like, what the hell? That should be in like your top 20, but it's talked about enough. It's one of my favorite Stanley Kubrick films. I was thinking of putting Eyes Wide Shut on the list as well. I'll chuck that in as an honorable mention. I don't think that film gets talked about nearly as enough as what it
Still
should.
haven't seen it.
It's good. It's good, man. You should see it. It's all about like cult, like sex cults and stuff. Like it's pretty top tier stuff. David Cronenberg's The Fly with Jeff Goldblum, Gina Davis, quality film. I know that probably shouldn't be an honorable mention, but it is. What else have I got? Right, last honorable mention is Dog Soldiers by Neil Marshall. Film that me and you both really enjoy.
I'm this close to spitting at the screen, man. You better be careful now. You're pissing me off not putting it in the list.
Well, to be fair, I think Neil Marshall will be pretty happy with my list as we go on. So
yeah, right.
But that's my honorable mentions. Right, getting my list. Number 20 is it's a new film. Came out in 2018, starring Nicolas Cage. Is Mandy.
Oh yeah, solid little beast. Hell yeah,
it is. Right. So this would maybe go into the category of quote unquote elevated horror. So it's like it's an incredibly slow burn of a movie. But if you know that going into it and you're prepared for that, you can have a pretty solid time with it. And I think if you're a fan of Nick Cage, I think it was part of his his now renaissance coming back. Do you know what I mean? Like it didn't start off with Mandy, but I think that film chucked into a mix of really pretty shit films, like straight to video nonsense, paying his bills.
Yeah.
I think that was a diamond in the rough. It floored me when I first watched it. I remember having a mate round to my flat, and we got fucked up and watched it, man. Like it's one of them movies where like it's a proper out there psychedelic trip of a movie.
Oh yeah, it's
got one of the best color palettes ever to a film. Again, you'll notice something with my list. I like the cult aspect in horrors, so cults are just my thing when it comes to horror films. And this has got a pretty, not a big cult, but a small cult in it that it follows. And it's I don't know. Have you seen it? Have you seen Mandy?
Of course, yeah.
Right. So
I saw it when it came out, like brand new. I had to see it. I rushed to see that film.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. So the biker gang in it, who were called like the Black Skulls. Now they're just like they tick all the boxes for me, like in every way. When that guy gets the horn out, I can't remember what. Can you remember, yeah. Like the whistle, like he blows and like it. These biker, the Black Skulls just appear, and he gives him as like the trade to go and hunt down Nicolas Cage. He gives him like that liquid LSD or whatever it is, this like pot of like silver, like liquid drugs that he chugs on the spot, and they go off hunting fucking Mandy and Nicolas Cage. It's just phenomenal. It's batshit out there. But that's my number 20.
Dude, that chainsaw fight scene, man. That fight with the chainsaw. Oh, hilarious.
Oh
I
my
love
god,
it.
it's just so heavy metal, isn't it? It's like you can't get any more
Wonderful.
rock and roll in that film, to be honest.
I like it. I like it. I like that film a lot. It's really good, man. It's
It's an
really good.
experience. It's definitely like you've got to be in the mood for it as well. But no, I've started watching it when it turns Halloweeny. That's what I'll go to. It's
Cool,
got a
man.
great score as well. Right, number 19, Ari Aster's 2018 Hereditary. Yeah, it had to be on the list somewhere. I think this is a great film, phenomenal film. It's one of the few films of like the past decade that I would say like truly petrified me when I watched it and stuck with me.
Nice.
I think a lot to do with that is down to the performances. Toni Collette is just like so next level in this film. Like it's pretty beyond. Like that whole end scene with her bashing her head off the ceiling. It's like some of the most fucked up imagery ever put on screen that I've witnessed before. Anyway,
Dude, I literally think not only is it Toni Collette's best performance, I don't know how she didn't get an Oscar for it. I don't get it. But I think it's one of the best overall performances I've ever seen, ever. Not just in horror, I mean in anything. Her performance in that is what completely made that film for me. I just, it's mind-blowing. I thought she was outstanding in it, man. When she goes through trauma and she starts wailing, it is heart-wrenching. Remarkable performance.
It's the dinner scene where the family's having the dinner and it just escalates throughout the dinner. And another guy who I'll give mad props to, because everything I've seen him in recently, Alex Wolff. He was in Old. He was, where the kid ages up. That's Alex Wolff. He was one of the best parts of that film. And also, I recently just watched Pig. Speaking of Nicolas Cage, that was a beauty little film. Have you seen Pig?
No, yeah, I've seen, I saw 20 minutes of it, then I fell asleep. Not because it was boring, but because I was tired. I do want to watch it. I will watch it soon. I want to.
Yeah, I did think of you when I was watching it. I thought that would be probably up your street. It was really
you
good,
thought
man.
of a pig. You thought of a pig and you thought of me.
No, I wasn't going for that. I wasn't. No, good film though. Just solid storytelling, man. Nicolas Cage is phenomenal in it. Number 18, 2005 Rob Zombie film, The Devil's Rejects.
Is that the sequel, or is it the first one?
To House of a Thousand Corpses.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I didn't see the sequel because I didn't like the first one. Although I respected how zany it was.
It's right. So this is quite funny then. I didn't see the House of a Thousand Corpses first. I actually saw Devil's Rejects first. I remember when this film was coming out, because I remember back then in 2005, I used to collect Enemy magazines in the UK. That was just a music magazine. But I remember the poster was always on the back of it. It was always on the back, and it was like of the poster, like the fingernails coming out of like the doorway, blood everywhere. It was a proper gnarly poster. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna watch that film one day. Anyway, did watch it, loved it, absolutely loved it. It was really, really brutal. The whole scene, which is the majority of the film, that's in this like hotel room, is just like stomach churning. There's like the three protagonists that you follow like are the worst human beings on the face of the planet, but it's quality, man. It's got some great songs in it, great use of Songbird at the end when there's a big shootout with the police. It's very rock and roll. Do love it.
Right.
If I was just to touch on it, I did later watch House of a Thousand Corpses. I really enjoy that film because I like its wackiness and its campness. Like, they're things that sell me on a film. Like the whole color palette of that film, loved it. The house reminded me of like there was a show that I used to watch back in the day called Beetleborgs, and it was on Fox Kids, right? And the house that they used to stay at was like this Addams Family looking house where the Beetleborgs used to like stay basically, and it was like this haunted mansion type thing. Totally reminds me of the same house out of House of a Thousand Corpses. It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff.
Yeah, nice,
but my number 17 is a super pretentious film, but I don't give a shit. Is The Neon Demon, directed by Nicholas Winding Refn. I love this film.
Oh, wow, you got a strong stomach, my friend.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, basically a bunch of models being fucking cannibals. What more do you want? No, I don't know, man. I really like this film. I like the whole look of it. I like the direction of it. I'm quite a big fan of Nicholas Winding Refn, but not really solely down to Drive, which is a solid film. I just think it's a film that's been done many a time and possibly better. But this is actually my favorite film of his. I know it's quite divisive. It's not for a lot of people. Totally get that. But yeah, sometimes I don't know. I just there's pretentious films out there that that speak to me. Not all of them do, and this one's one of them. I think it's got some stellar performances. Like all the girls that are in it, like do a great job. They're like one of the lead models who's the most cannibalistic out the lot of them. She was actually in Old. She was like the younger girl with the blonde hair who was like going out with Rufus Swell, that actor in Old. Yeah, in Old where she gets a hunchback basically, and she's in the cave. Yeah, that's the same actress. She's really good. Like I've only seen her in them 2 films, but good performances in both of them. But yeah, it definitely creeps me out, and I don't know. It's just it's beautiful dread. That's what I think about Neon Demon. Number 16 is one that me and you both appreciate. I think how we might have met is 2004's Creep. Yeah. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, man. This is like basically for me, anything that's set in the UK automatically makes it even more scary because we live here. So it's just like I think you can imagine it happening. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
like set in London, primarily set all in the London Underground. You follow. I can't remember the actress's name.
German lady. She was in the Bourne films. The first
she was in the Bourne Identity, wasn't she? In the second one.
I can't remember her name either, but yeah, she's great in it.
Yeah, she's really, really good. But the absolute star of the show, Sean Harris. This guy, man, like, I didn't think back then in 2004, watching this film, that like he was still going to be a thing today. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes with these horror films, when they have a creature or they have any sort of humanoid, they don't get like a big name to play them. And arguably in 2004, Sean Harris wasn't a big name. But the thing is, in 2022, he's still not a big name, and he should be. But he still is acting though. He's yeah. I think most people will know him from. He's the villain in the Mission Impossible. He's in Rogue Nation and Fallout. He's the main villain in that. He's also in Prometheus as well. But yeah,
underused in Prometheus. So underused in Prometheus.
There's a lot of issues with Prometheus. Like it's a film that I really like, and I know you like it as well, don't you?
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. I'll go as far as say I love it as well. But some of the choices to do with what the characters do in that is just like mind melting.
Hey, look! There's a space cobra. Hey, little fella.
Yeah. Don't stroke the space cobra. Like, let's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on number. Have I done 5? Is that 5?
No, yeah, I don't think no.
Yeah, I have. I've done 5. That's it. Creep was my number 5.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. Shit, my turn then, is it?
Yeah, honorable mentions. Let's go.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. The thing to keep in mind with my list, I'll say this quick, is that you're gonna find out that most of those theological horror films aren't really on here for the most part. This whole like ghost spirit shit just doesn't do much for me. It doesn't usually scare me. Not that I'm an atheist at all. It's got nothing to do with anything like that. I just don't find them that scary. Do you know what I mean? It's just something that just don't creep me out. So there's not many on here. And I also did struggle immensely here because most of the films that I find terrifying or at least influential to me happen to be thrillers that just happen to have real scary themes. Like for example, The Wicker Man. I really wanted to put that on here, the original Wicker Man. If anyone out there is a fan of Midsummer, they should check it out because this is the OG that like started it all off.
Yeah,
Problem
definitely.
is, it's not really a horror film though. It's just got one horror scene. Doesn't really count. I also wanted to put in Split, but I didn't feel like it was appropriate. Also wanted to put in Battle Royale or Buried with Ryan Reynolds, which is possibly the scariest film I've ever fucking seen. But they're not horrors, and that's what I was really struggling with. You know what I mean?
I think they fall into like a thriller category, don't they?
They do, but they terrify me. That's the thing. They really scare me, especially Buried. So I struggled, but I've removed
I thought
them.
the same with Seven. I had a fight with that, like mentally. I was like, I really want to put that on my list, but I feel like it just is a thriller, maybe. But it's rough, but yeah, it might be on your list.
I get it.
Yeah,
no, it's cool. I dig it. We got our own perspective, but yeah, I'm just saying that's how I was struggling here. But still, I'm gonna quickly say the honorable mentions. So I've got stuff like Human Centipede. I'm not saying it's amazing, but the main villain is flat out terrifying, and the concept is chilling. Alien 3, I do think that one counts. I'm in love with that film, and it's scary. Get Out, I thought was great. Hereditary, I thought was great as well. Malignant, I'm not completely in love with it, but it's so breathtakingly original, man, and I thought it was a thrill ride. Yeah, the first Paranormal Activity had a big impact on me as well, but forget the sequels. I haven't seen any after number 3. The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it might have aged a lot, but I still love it. 50 years later, I still think it's very effective. Creep, absolutely. That one's in there. 2004's Creep made me a big fan of Sean Harris, and I love that guy. He's great in everything he's in. The remake of Hills Have Eyes, that's there too, because I think that's underrated as hell. I think that's great filmmaking. And I'm quite surprised I'm saying that because it should be cheap and tacky, but I actually think it's very effective with the practical effects. Dyatlov Pass incident, aka Devil's Pass, I think is pretty scary too. And yeah, also Eden Lake. I've only seen that film once. I'll never fucking see it again. It's been over 10 years. I don't need to see it again. That film fucked with my head. Last two that I'm going to say real quickly for honorable mentions. I'm saying them dead quick because I think you should check them out if you haven't seen them. You're a big fan of that film, The Ritual, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't want to say too much on it because it might come up.
Okay, I dig it. Well, anyway, if you're into that, I would say check out Lake Mungo. And I would say check out Borderlands, aka The Final Prayer. Really wonderful, chilling little films that I think are very overlooked. Yeah, like they're ghost spirit stuff, but they're actually very well done. They're both found footage films as well. But they're very well done. But yeah, I just say check those out. But those were my honorable mentions. Now, my number 20. Yeah, I'm gonna kind of struggle to justify this one. Not many people even know it, but I'll still say it. It's the movie White Noise with Michael Keaton.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really surprised I'm putting it up on number 20. Pretty much, I saw it for the first time when I was like 14. And I wasn't too impressed. I didn't really care about it. I thought Michael Keaton was okay. Thin plot, wasn't that scary. Didn't care. Because again, I don't find disco stuff scary often. Skip 5 years later, I must have been like 19. Yeah, I sat down to watch it in the middle of the night, and something fucking weird happened where I just felt so deeply unnerved The jump scares felt great and earned. The concept, it was all so creepy and scary, and I felt like a little kid again. I was so scared, but I couldn't turn off the screen. I couldn't turn off the film because if I turn it off, I'd be alone in the quiet room. You know what I mean? I had this
Too
weird
much.
thing where I couldn't stop watching it. It was fucking me up. Loads of the imagery is much more effective when you watch it a second time round because you're able to you're able to see certain clues that are in there. Yeah, the three silhouettes, anyone who watches the film, I don't know what I'm on about. It really did unnerve me. Now, it's so flawed. I don't think it's a great film. It's so flawed. There are so many problems with it. But it is effectively scary for me. Just the atmosphere of it all, the whole white noise, listening out for ghosts and stuff, and the ghosts giving you creepy messages. Something about it deeply unnerved me, and ever since then, I've always been a fan of it. It's so flawed, but I'm a fan of it. It does effectively creep me the fuck out. Number 19 is Wes Craven's Scream, the original.
All right, yeah.
So yeah, I'm not big. I'm not usually big into slasher films. I'm just like you. We're not the biggest fans of, even though we respect them, we're not the biggest fans of like Friday 13th or any of the Freddy Kruegers or Halloween. They're not on this list, and I know they're not on your list either. You know what I mean?
No, they're not.
Exactly. So I'm not really a big fan of it.
I respect them, but just like I think them films are very much, if you grow up with them, you love them and you've got a devoted fan base, but I never grew up with them. The Halloween films, I've seen them all. They're all fun in their own right, but like they don't tickle me as such.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm different. I was kind of raised with them, but I never really caught on with them. Although I am a fan of plenty of them, and I am a big fan of the recent Halloween stuff that they've been doing. I even like Rob Zombie's remake.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, they're cool. So I'm not massively into slashers, but Wes Craven's Scream, not only did it change the game, but it's just great filmmaking. The whole meta references are great. It's not the first time Wes Craven's done it. He did it with that Freddy Krueger film, New Nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't even seen it, but I know loads about it. How he flat out states, "Hey, this is fake," and Wes Craven plays himself.
He's in it.
It's also, yeah, I think it's all cool, man. But yeah, the first one just changed the game for me. I'm a big fan of Scream 1. I also do really enjoy Scream 2 and Scream 3. Even though the quality dips, I still like them a lot. But Scream 4, I really wasn't much of a fan of. And only a few days ago, I saw Scream 5. I was rolling my eyes. I seem to be on the opposite of everyone else. I can't really stand it, if I'm honest with you. So
yeah, I saw your take on that. Seems to be quite popular though. Like the masses sort of seem to enjoy that one.
Please check it out, dude. You might disagree with me, and I hope you do. I hope you have fun like everyone else is.
I'll check it out one day. Not for me, though, really.
Please do. Yeah, please do go for it, but not my scene. Number 18 is a film that came out in 2014, 2015. It's a wonderful low-budget movie called It Follows.
Oh, yeah, man.
Fucking hell, I didn't expect that, man. The 1980s style soundtrack, the primitive style of the whole thing, the weird concept of something following you and it can look like anyone and not everyone can see it and stuff. The fact that it's constantly walking in your direction, it always knows where you are. You know what I mean? You could drive for 8 hours or something, and if you fall asleep, it's been walking for 8 hours toward you. It's just so unnerving, man. It had an impact on me. I don't think it's a masterpiece or anything, but again, I was scared watching it, and I think it's a great concept. They're thinking about doing a sequel where they explore the origins of it. I don't really want that, but go for it. I don't care. I'll still have the original.
I'll be down for it. It's like a really simple, like plot device, but really effective. And the soundtrack's awesome, man. Really good.
Fuck yeah. Number 17 is what was in your honorable mentions. It's Eli Roth's Hostel. This one is one of my favorite horrors, hands down. And I seem to be on the opposite end of most fans of it. Because what you need to know about me is that I'm not a fan of gore. I think it's fucking wonderful when it's used in the right context. Sometimes it can be really fun, like Hot Fuzz or Crank or Shaun of the Dead. It's fun. Other times it's a great tool to get us scared, like Martyrs or Alien. You know what I mean? It's a great tool. But sadly, with these like hence the genre gore porn. Loads of people just get off from watching these innocent people get torn apart. No, the reason why I love Hostel is because the violence is great in it because it's used as an effective tool to get me scared. Seeing innocent human beings tortured does not excite me in any way, shape, or form. I'm not excited by it like Eli Roth is or the rest. But it does scare the bejesus out of me. The concept of evil human beings paying money to gleefully torture people
I think
is sick.
that's the best thing about the film. Like,
Yeah.
personally for me, the concept of that film is the best thing about the film. Like, it did like have countless well, no, how many sequels did it have? Two more
Two of them.
sequels. Yeah. Really solid premise. I think the premise was better than the film, in my opinion. But
Yeah, fair enough. Yep, Hostel, I think it has a great concept, but I do think for the most part it was pulled off very well. I think it's so fucking scary. No exaggeration, I watched it when I was 14. I'm 30 years old now, so for 16 years, no joke, I still have nightmares about it. It's not a joke. I've had so many freaking nightmares about it, especially the first torture sequence. The thing I don't like about it really is just how over the top it gets at times. You know, like the main guy gets his fingers cut off and somehow he doesn't die of blood loss in 20 minutes, and there he is kicking ass and doesn't die. It's very weird, it's too over the top, and it does suck me out of it a bit, but hey ho, I still think it's great filmmaking, and I don't love it for the same reasons everyone else does. It's because it literally scares me.
It was the penis chopping that was just like too much for me.
Oh, that's the second one.
Oh, is that the second one?
Yeah.
That is, nah, man.
I didn't care. I didn't care about that because it was a bad guy. It happened to a bad guy, so I didn't care. No, he deserved it. Fuck him. Nah. I also want to quickly state that I am not a fan of the sequels. The second one I thought had some great stuff in it. It actually showed it from the bad guy's perspective, and it did some cool new things with that I have never seen done on a film before. I thought it was great. But the main characters, the women, were sadly underdeveloped. I couldn't stand them. They bored me. And the way they continued Hostel Part 2, like from the ending to the opening of Hostel 2.
Oh, yeah.
Dreadful. Not only was it unsatisfying, it just made no sense. It was logically stupid. And the third one I don't care about. It wasn't made by Eli Roth. It was just a silly, low-budget film. Didn't care about it at all. So, whatever.
What are your thoughts on Eli Roth in general, like, as a filmmaker?
Not particularly a fan, but I have loads of respect. So I just recently got Cabin Fever, and I'm actually a big fan. I'm a fan of that one. Yeah. Absolutely. Huge tribute to Evil Dead throughout the whole thing. You can truly see the passion and love for horror in it, and he's got some great stuff in there. It's very effective, very quirky, very unique. I respect him, and he carried that over with Hostel. But after that, I just don't really care. I've seen other stuff he's either made or been involved with, and it's like, oh, dude. It's just strange. I'm not really a big fan of him. He just seems a bit too immature and stuff with his products. I saw that
Green Inferno film. Yeah.
There we go. I completely respect what he was going for. A big love letter to Cannibal Holocaust and stuff, but it didn't do shit for me, mate. I'm glad loads of other people had fun with it. Not me personally. What about you though? What did you think of all that stuff?
I don't know. I think he's definitely got a style. I actually really like the that Death Wish movie he made. You know, with
Bruce Willis.
Yeah. It looks a little bit like a TV movie. Like, cinematography isn't immaculate in it. But I actually think Bruce Willis is half decent in it, to be fair.
Yeah, loads of people like hated it and said how shit Bruce Willis was in it, like how he was sleepwalking through it, so to speak. Me, I didn't really care so much. It was like a nice bit of trashy fun. I actually kind of dug that film. I kind of dug it, man. It was all right. I'm sure I didn't think, I'm not like you, dude. I disagree. I didn't think Bruce Willis was so good in it. But during the action scenes, yes, I thought he was all right in it. I had a bit of fun, dude. A nice bit of B-movie trash that I had fun with. I wasn't laughing at it. I was laughing with it. I liked it. Yeah, I liked it. It was all right. It's passable. So yeah, I kind of dig you I kind of on your level with it. But yeah, number 16 is Wolf Creek.
All right, interesting.
Yeah,
I just watched the second one last night, in fact.
I know, I saw what you were saying about it. I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
Yeah. It's not. I don't think
Yeah.
it's as good as the first one, but
Mhm.
still good. Still okay.
Yeah.
Watchable.
So yeah, I was a big fan of it when I first saw it. It had a deep impact on me. I thought it was peculiar how it spent so long developing the characters and the horror began, but I liked that. It felt very realistic, and I felt like I was in the protagonist's shoes. I liked them. For the most part, they didn't do stupid things. There wasn't a huge cast of characters, meaning that they weren't all put there to get killed off or whatever. There's not a big overuse of gore, but the violence that is there deeply disturbed me. The acting from John Jarrett as Mick Taylor, I think it's one of the best ever put to film ever.
Have you seen
Effectively scary.
have you seen any of like the behind the scenes and interviews about Wolf Creek? I
Yes,
think
I have.
who was what? Sorry, what was the actor who played Mick Taylor?
John Jarrett.
So basically, I think he was doing a bit of like he was almost method acting through that as well, like off screen. Like I think the cast and the crew were like pretty uncomfortable with the guy.
Mhm.
Not that he did anything like bad or anything like that, but I think he took the role and really sort of it comes across on screen. The guy's
Oh
amazing
yeah.
in that role, and like let's be fair, it spawned a sequel and a TV season. Just I think
Mhm.
purely off his performance alone. But yeah,
Absolutely.
it's weird. It's like he's the most horrific human being on the planet, but also like you sort of like root for him in like this weird sort of way. You don't root
Oh
for him,
no.
but like you do sort of get a sick enjoyment of like watching him hunt down his prey basically in the films.
No.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gripped to it. I'm gripped to it, sort of
yeah,
like how I'm gripped
totally.
to watching Predator Stalker's Prey. I'm gripped to it, but I'm not happy when he kills people. I get nervous with it. It fucks me up. Um, but yeah, speaking of method acting, I just want to dead quick say when we're talking about that film Creep, Sean Harris did the same thing dressed up in that makeup, dude. He was
Oh
method
my
acting.
god.
Fuck
I couldn't
that.
think of
Fuck that.
anything worse. Bloody
I
hell.
know. You know what I mean?
God.
Anyway. Yeah, I do want to say dead quick as well. You can take it for granted as well that Wolf Creek has sequels. Do you know what I mean? You can take that for granted. But me, I spent about a good 8 years thinking I was never gonna get it. And the fact we got all this content pleases me, dude. Because I'm really happy that we got it. The second Wolf Creek is solid, man. It's not as good as the first one, but it is quite gripping. And even though I've got plenty of issues with it, dude, that third act with that whole "Who Wants to Be a Millionaire" scene.
It's the CGI
No.
kangaroos that bloody took me out of the movie for a little bit, but anyway.
Yeah.
It
I
came
do
out
want to
no,
quickly say, yeah, no, I didn't like that either. I do want to quickly say though that this show, for me personally, I do think you should give it a try just in case you disagree with me. But I actually thought the first season of Wolf Creek this season was terrible. I absolutely despised
I
it.
remember
I
you saying
really
this, yeah.
hated it. But to my absolute surprise, um, the second season, in my opinion, is the best it's been ever since the first film. I actually thought it was goddamn remarkable. I'd say check them out, dude. I think it's definitely worth it, and roll on either the next season or Wolf Creek 3, because I know they're making it. John Jarrett, he's just recently turned 70, or at least he's turning 70 soon, and it still ain't lost him. He's still a beefcake, still hench as fuck. And
Nice.
what I like about it as well, what I like about it is that he actually based the role, the performance, on his father. He based
Oh,
it on his
no way.
father. He said it himself. He loves his dad. His dad was not evil, but he said like his dad had this like crazy deep voice and was like this big gregarious giant and shit. You know what I mean? Like this big muscle bound badass. So he said it was an impression of his father, but just added the evil layers to it. And I think that's great. I think
He
that's
nails
great.
it, man. He's phenomenal. He makes some films.
Dude, yeah, he's something else. It's phenomenal. But yeah, that's my 20 to 16 right there, big man. So yeah,
Cool.
your turn, buddy.
Good list. Right. Number 15 of mine is going to be Bone Tomahawk.
That almost made the list. I didn't know you'd seen that film, buddy.
Yeah, man. What a fucking movie that is, man. So I didn't know much about this before I seen it. Nice. Yeah.
Got it right next to me, dude. It's like right there.
Yeah, I didn't know much about
Wow.
this before I watched it. But I think the less you know about this film, 100% the better. I don't think I'm even gonna go in the plot or anything now. Well, maybe I will. I don't know. Fuck it. Spoil it.
It's easy, isn't it? It's just cowboys versus weird cannibals or whatever.
Yeah,
Just say this.
basically, yeah, that's it. That's all we need to say. But it's great. It's Kurt Russell's awesome in it. He's always awesome, but he's really good in that.
Yeah.
Like the violence in this film, when it happens, it catches you off guard, and the music drops out. So like when the violence does occur, it's got this awesome technique of like just all the score of the film soundtrack, it just goes dead and you just hear the impact of whatever's occurring on screen, and it adds that little flavor to it. Really good. There's another guy in it who's really good. Like the cast is all pretty good, but there was a guy I think who was on Lost. He was like the main. Am I right?
Please don't talk about that show. I can't stand it. But anyway, Matthew Fox.
Yeah, he's great in the film, and he's not. You don't see him in much.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just for the record, I'm a crazy avid fan of Lost, but because it went nowhere and I can't stand the ending and the lack of answers, it fucking destroyed me. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen done to a story. So I get PTSD when you say its name.
I never watched it. I never graced.
Oh, you lucky bastard. You lucky bastard. Well, either way, yeah, Matthew Fox, he was great in it. And he said it himself as his favorite role because he always wanted to play as a cowboy. He was great in it, dude. Real great film.
Is it J.J. Abrams who writ Lost? Or am I wrong?
Produced it.
Oh, yeah.
It was written by the same guy who wrote the show for Watchmen.
Damon Lindelof. That's the one.
Yeah.
Cool. Number 14, I'll just really quickly...
Just dead quick, before you continue, I just want to say, can we please take a second to appreciate the sound design for Bone Tomahawk? All I'm going to say is, because I don't want to really spoil it, but the villains make these strange noises. I want to know how the sound design, like how the tech, how they made it. I know it's a combination of 3 different noises, but I don't know what the noises are. When I wear my headphones and I watch that film, it is fucking unnerving. It full-blown creeps me out just hearing those weird noises.
It's
awesome. Brilliant.
It's a proper great film. If you haven't watched Bone Tomahawk, watch it immediately.
Great director.
Yeah, don't watch it if you're like really squeamish, like the last half, that third act. Whoa, that's like some gnarly stuff, man. But really well done though. Number 14, you've already mentioned it. It Follows, just a great film. Like you say, really enjoy all the acting in it, pretty much. I can't remember what the lead actress's name is, but she was also in a film I love called The Guest.
Great film.
Yeah.
I can't remember her being in it though. I don't remember that.
Yeah, she's the daughter. She's the daughter of the family that Dan Stevens goes to stay with. But It Follows. Great film. The only thing I'll say about It Follows is that I think it shits the bed in the final act. I don't like the stuff at the swimming pool.
I was slightly iffy with it, but I don't hate it. But I was a bit iffy with it.
I agree with you. I just don't love it. I think the rest of the film is way better. Yeah. Number 13. I said I wasn't going to say any sky. I keep wanting to say sci-fi. Why do I keep saying that? Sci-fi. Event Horizon by Paul W.S. Anderson. I love this movie. This is a great film. And it creeped me out back in the day. And I remember
Sam Neill was great in it.
Yeah, Sam Neill is good in it. It's got Lawrence Fishburne in it as well. He plays like the captain of the ship that the crew are on. But it's a great film, and I really like Paul W.S. Anderson as a director. I know he gets a lot of shit because the whole Resident Evil franchise is under his belt pretty much. But I don't know. I think like late 90s Anderson's pretty good. Mortal Kombat, the far superior Mortal Kombat from '95, the Event Horizon.
I'll
What
say
else did he do?
nothing.
He done a really good. He done another really good film. Before I forget, Soldier with Kurt Russell. I don't know if you've seen that.
Oh yeah, the Blade Runner spinoff. Yeah, that's a good film.
I like that film. Pretty good. Kurt Russell doesn't say a lot in it. He hasn't got a lot of dialogue in it, but it's a good film. Great, like set designs and stuff.
I really, really do like that one. Sean Pertwee, isn't it? Yeah, he's
quite
great
hard to
in
find on a Blu-ray of it. I haven't come across it. I've got the DVD of it, but I'm waiting to post it until I come across the Blu-ray. But I do want to do a recap of that film.
Yeah. Most people forget that it's a Blade Runner spin-off. Most people forget that there's 3 Blade Runner films. That is a Blade Runner.
I didn't know it was a Blade Runner spin-off. Is it a Blade Runner spin-off?
Oh, didn't you know that?
No.
Yeah, full blown. There's technology. Loads of the technology they use is from Blade Runner. It is a spin-off.
I'll have to look at that.
Yeah, the same universe. And also Paul W.S. Anderson did the very underrated Alien versus Predator. I really like that film.
Oh yeah, he did. Of course he did. I don't know why I forgot that. That's an underrated beast in that catalogue. Yeah, you know what that film is? It's just like the Dark Horse comics that came out years ago, like the Alien versus Predator comics. Like they were brilliant. Just a lot of fun.
Yeah, fun man, fun film.
Right, number 12. I think this one's going to get people going, what the hell? It's a film that came out in 2005, and it is the Amityville Horror, starring Ryan Reynolds. I love this film. What? This is a good film. I like this film. What's wrong with this film?
I'm joking. That's my Tourette's teddy bear, by the way. I like to squeeze it when I'm watching a movie so I don't tick about all the time. Anyway, no, I don't despise it. It just didn't do much to me. The best thing about it was that Ryan Reynolds had a remarkable physique in it. And not that I'm remotely homosexual, but it just impressed me. That was the best thing about it for me. I prefer the original.
You know what? I think I haven't seen the original, so I can't comment on that.
Okay.
I think it's just the fact that I saw this when it, like, I didn't see it in the cinema. When it released on like home video DVD, like we saw it straight away. I actually remember it was this and Jeepers Creepers that we saw in the same night. That was like what we rented. But this really fucked me up. I think Ryan Reynolds in the later last decade, I've struggled with Ryan Reynolds, if I'm being totally honest. I think he plays the same character more or less in every film. And he does sort of do that in this one up until a certain point. When he loses it, Ryan Reynolds, I think he plays it really well. And he is really intimidating and scary in the film. There's a couple of great, as far as they go, jump scares.
Yeah, this ain't going our way, isn't it, Dave, big man?
Right. Technical issues again, guys. I'm really sorry, but we will get there. We'll get there. I think I was talking about the Amityville Horror. I won't spend any more. Amityville Horror. I won't spend any more time on it. It was just one that used to scare me back in the day. Ryan Reynolds, really good in it. What I didn't mention, that jump scare when the kid's in the bathroom and he closes the window and there's that, like, I don't know, like one of the, because it's,
I don't remember.
It's set on like a burial ground, isn't it? For is it natives that were originally there? That it was like a burial ground. It's basically why Ryan Reynolds starts losing the plot in it a little bit. But yeah, some good jump scares in it. I don't mind it.
The original has a creepy dead pig in it, which is one of the main antagonists in it. It's a dead pig. It's like it's a pitch black pig with red eyes. And,
would you recommend the original?
Well, kind of. I've only seen it once and I didn't adore it or anything, but I definitely did appreciate it more than the original, than the remake, sorry. And I watched the remake first, and I thought it was possible. I was joking around earlier saying, oh God, what's wrong with you? But I don't mean it, of course. It's not a bad film, just really didn't do much for me. But even if I did think it was even if I did think it was bad, I'm not going to be stupid enough to criticize you for liking something I don't. You know what I mean? So I was only kidding.
It was just when we were talking earlier on, and it was like, what did like really actually petrify us when we watched them, and that was one of them. That was one.
Fair play, but
number 11. I think this might be on your list. I don't know. Cabin in the Woods.
All right. I don't like that film.
Shut the front door. I've seen your steelbook, baby.
They don't know.
But yeah, what a great film this is. This is like talking about turning a genre on its head. Like, I don't think it gets more than this. Like, I remember first watching, it's not necessarily scary, although I would say it's got a few elements in the first half that were a bit scary, but it follows the tropes in the first half, which is what it's meant to do. It leads you into this false sense of security with these cuts to these businessmen in what seem like a bunker, or you're wondering what the hell's going on there. It's got a great actor. There's like two main guys, isn't there? And one of them, I can't remember his name, but he's like a character actor in loads and loads of things. I can't remember what the guy's called, but
yeah, I'm drawing a blank as well.
He's great. He's in like Let the Right One In and Shape of Water and stuff. But
still need to see those two films. Still need to see them.
Both good, man.
Cool, man.
But yeah, I think it's a quality film. Like, it's very, to me, like the second half of it is just the most insane movie of all time. And the very, very last scene, which you'll know what I'm talking about, just like is the cherry on the top for me. Like, if you thought it was crazy the whole way through, that end scene, you're just like, oh, right, okay, that's where we are. It's good, man. My number,
God, yeah.
or have I done 5? Yeah, that's my 5. That's my 15 to 11.
Sweet. Number 15 for me is the original The Omen.
All right, yeah. I did think about that on the list.
Yeah, when I was a child, as I said in the last video, when we were talking about the remake and stuff, yeah, the original one did terrify me. I watched it when I was 11 years old, and it screwed my head. It was actually a horrible experience, and it took me a good couple of months to be able to sleep alone again. I was fucked up from it, and I wasn't able to watch it again until I was like 16 or something. It fucked me up. Now I don't. It doesn't have the same effect on me, but I'm still fucking scared of it. As I said, it's not often that theological stuff gets to my head, but that one does. Something about this evil cult going on behind the scenes, controlling this man's life, raising the devil, is very, very effective. Scares the hell out of me. That whole graveyard scene with the jackal and all that. It just, oh god, this nightmare feel, but in a good way. Death scenes, it goes without saying that Final Destination was inspired by all of that. It's just really crazy.
I can see, yeah, it's a good point. Very good point. I can totally see that, yeah. With like the head decapitation and the spike going through the guys. It's very like, quote unquote, accidental, but really nothing accidental about it, yeah.
Yeah, it's dude, the whole thing does, the whole taking pictures, lines going through them and stuff in the pictures, like all of it just gets to me. It's so unbelievably effective. I love it. As horribly stupid as they can be as well, I do dig the sequels. Even if I don't consider them to be canon, I still dig them to an extent. And I also do somewhat like the remake as well, like you, even though I'm not a big fan of it at all, but I still do have respect for it. Number 14 is kind of a cheat, I guess, because it's 2 films, but that's simply because I can't have one without the other, really. And believe it or not, it's The Shining. I can't really accept it by itself anymore after watching Doctor Sleep. Personally, I was incredibly impressed with it. Doctor Sleep was a very satisfying sequel for me. I don't know how I think his name's Mike Flanagan. I'm very surprised that this guy. Yeah, I don't know how he managed to do it a sequel to a very old film like that and just made it so satisfying. Now, these two like would be higher up on the list, but it's the simple fact that I hate to say it, but it's true. The Shining used to be my religion when I was in my like teens. It was my religion. I watched it so many times. It meant everything to me. It was close to being my favorite movie. Sadly, as I got older, I found more things with it that like made me appreciate it less. I still love it, of course. It's one of my favorite films, but it's just that I was able to see why Stephen King was not so happy with this adaptation of his book. There's loads of good stuff from the book that's not in there. In the book, like Jack Nicholson's main character was like a real lovely, normal human being who declined, whereas Jack Nicholson was always a nutcase from the beginning, it seemed. And he didn't have a good relationship with his wife or kid in the beginning, so there wasn't a good sense of loss. But you know what, dude?
The flip to being like to losing it wasn't as I don't know, like you say that the lines blurred a little bit. Like right at the start, he's not the most pleasant human being going anyway. But
Exactly.
But yeah, I see what you're saying about that. I do love The Shining though. Great film.
Yeah, I still do absolutely love it. It means the world to me. And the sequel, Doctor Sleep, I don't know, but I possibly prefer it to The Shining. And that is not something I say easily. I know, that's one's going to get me stoned, you know what I mean? But I can't help it. Don't throw the stones at me, guys. I'm not doing it on purpose. I was just very impressed with it. It's not a perfect film or anything. I do think certain aspects of the third act should have been different. But for the most part, I was so satisfied with it.
I love Doctor Sleep. I think it doesn't have any right being as good as what it is, but it just is. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as The Shining, personally, for me. But
fair enough.
The last act of that film could have went really bad, but I think it was solid. I was impressed with the guy who was doing the Jack Nicholson impersonation. You know,
that I actually see what you mean. It was good, but I did kind of find it a bit corny.
But I'd have preferred that than the Uncanny Valley. Like, let's just sort of CGI Jack Nicholson's face onto some guy. That would have took me out a bit more.
Well, here, I kind of see where you're coming from there. I don't know if I agree. I might do. I don't know, but this will make you smart. Do you know who played as him? Who was playing as Jack Nicholson in Doctor Sleep? Do you know?
No.
Get ready. It's the kid from E.T.
No. Oh my God.
I know.
Is it really? No way.
Yeah, I know. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, that is a bit of a mind melter. Whoa.
I know. When I found that out, I was like, what the fuck?
So has he done much in between? Is that like...
He has. However, I haven't seen him, but he has. He's done loads. He's done fucking loads. He's done loads. It's just that I haven't seen any of it. It's weird. But he has been in a lot, I assure you. If you look up his IMDb, you'll see plenty. But, whatever. But yeah, amazing sequel. I know it's a cop-out to pick two, but I just can't have one without the other anymore. It changed my viewing experience of the original. I seem to love it more than most.
Yeah, I've got one like that coming up where it's a two movier. But
yeah, I've got another one of them too, but I can't help it, dude. So number 13 is David Cronenberg's The Fly. So yeah, not just one of my favorite horror films, yeah, one of the best overall films ever. Jeff Goldblum's best performance, in my opinion, possibly his best film, in my opinion, too, possibly.
It's the Jeff Goldblum show, basically, like, isn't it? It's like he is central focus of that whole film, and Gina Davis is solid in it as well. Like seeing Gina Davis is in anything really, but he's phenomenal in that film. I love the bar scene with the broken arm.
Oh fucking hell, dude!
Good man.
I can't take that shit. Some of it is so unpleasant. I have to fast forward for it. I've got no choice. I have to. The whole baboon scene. I can't watch that shit. I have to fast forward that. I can't cope with it. Yeah, but pretty much what makes it even more special is that it's a remake that, in my opinion, improves on the original. Whereas the original is obviously classic and did so much right. What made that one weird was that the plot of that was that the fly and the man simply swapped heads. that was pretty much it. You know, the
I think
bands
it's
walking
a
around.
similar situation to The Thing. Like that obviously had an original that was more from a classic point of view,
Hmm.
classic era. But I
And then
think
the
that
remake changes it up a lot. Yeah, yeah.
far surpasses it. Yeah.
Yeah, so this one, I don't know if it's I don't know if the hidden meaning behind both of those films is cancer or AIDS, which was obviously AIDS was prevalent back in the
Yeah,
80s.
yeah.
I don't know if it was, but watching this man, pretty much a terminally ill man, slowly turn into a weird fly hybrid thing, um, fucking terrifying. Not only is it terrifying, but the effects are great and they're fucking fantastic. They're phenomenal, actually. Some of the
It
best ever.
yeah, it just comes from that era where effects were king basically of the
Mhm.
film. Like there was a certain period in horror, especially where you would go for the effects and to see how they would like
Absolutely.
hold up.
And what makes it even more impressive for me, what makes it so much more impressive is that even though the effects are all cool and all that, they always come at a price for me because the story is sad. The more he changes and the more his body gets all morphed up, the sadder I get. It's not cool. Not for me. It is depressing. That film is soul crushing. It's so unpleasant. It's so sad watching this guy deform like that. It's a truly sad, heartbreaking film that just leaves you feeling icky. The soundtrack is also fantastic as well. Um, it's a masterpiece. It's such an
Cronenberg's
amazing.
got a film coming out this year. I can't remember what it's called, but I'll tell you afterwards. You need to check out the trailer. It's got Viggo Mortensen in it.
Don't know it
Um,
then. Don't know it. Never heard
no,
of it
I'll
then.
send you the trailer afterwards. It looks really really good, really
Please
good.
do. His
Yeah,
son seems to be carrying the torch as well. I'm not a fan
yeah.
of his latest film. I'm not a fan of it, but
What was it?
fucking hell, I see it. It's called Possessor,
Oh, I like that
and
film. I like it.
yeah, most people do.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm the odd one out. I'm glad everyone else is enjoying it, but I bought it on Blu-ray and watched it. I respected it so much. I saw what it was going for. It's fucking original. I gotta praise it for its originality.
It's
And
a beautiful
man, he's
looking film. Like the cinematography and stuff in it's
and
phenomenal.
the effects and all that are great practical effects. I see the love. He's definitely got his father's talent. Man, I respected it. But the reality was, dude, I was mostly bored and I really couldn't stick with it. I ended up selling it freaking quick. I got rid of it. But again, I'm glad everyone else is enjoying it though. I wish I felt like you guys, but 10 out of 10 for originality. Fair play, man. Seeing a film like that in today's day and age, fair play. I respect it. But
Give it props,
whatever.
man.
Yeah, of course. Number 12, so you say it's mostly a thriller, and I agree, but I think there's enough horror in it to make it warrant being on this list. Uh, 7. Uh, so a quick disclaimer, I don't love it like everyone else does. If you look on IMDb, it's like number 20 or something, like it's ridiculously high. Never agreed with it to that extent. That being said, I'm like, again, I think the like first half of it is it's got some slow bits, and I'm not completely keen on those bits. Still great filmmaking though. You can definitely see the talent behind it. I'm a fan of it. I keep watching it. I keep getting more grip to the horror scenes and all of the shit that goes on off screen. Just fucks with your head, man. Loads of it. I'm glad we didn't see. It's grim. But then, as soon as the scene happens, detective.
Yeah, quality.
Right then, your heart stops, and from there, it's some of the most amazing dialogue and scenes I've ever seen. And the serial killer in it is just fucking stunning. I still don't say who it is when I'm recommending it to people. I still never say who the actor is. I never give anything away.
Yeah,
I always let them watch it.
I really wanted to put it on the list, but I just think it's just that one cut above crossing into total horror. Do you know what I mean? It
I get it.
maxes out what a thriller can be. But
I
then
agree.
if it
I
was to
get
go
it.
any further, like if you were to see what was in the box at the end, like I know it's better off, you know, like it being like just an image in your head. But if it's got areas where it could have crossed the boundaries and would have projected it into full on horror. But because it doesn't show you most of the killings, like it could have showed you the killings, but you're very much seeing the aftermath of it and the detective side of it. I always found the funny thing with Seven is that I always looked at it as in this would be like a perfect portrayal of what Gotham City looked like. Like I could just imagine if it was a really dark, like it's not like
Mm.
So you know how like what Matt Reeves has obviously went for in the new Batman. I always thought Seven was like a great looking Gotham City. The fact it was always raining, it was like really, it looked deprived as hell. But
And
I think
they purposely never say where it is. Purposely, they never say
no,
where it
did
is.
it, you know where do you think it is? I always thought
Got no idea.
New York, but that's just me.
Nah, it's definitely not New York. I don't actually know where they shot it either, but they never say where it is. I think it is. I think literally, David Lynch, was. Wait, have I said his name right?
David Fincher.
Fincher. What a twat. There we go. I knew something was wrong there. I kicked it. Yeah, Fincher. I think he purposely made it like a fictional city. I don't know where they shot it, but I don't even think it's supposed to be in our world. I don't think that's what he was going for, but I could be wrong. I don't know, but the fact they never name it kind of goes without saying, and it really like that he was going for something weird. So I agree with what you're saying. It could have been a Gotham. Pretty interesting stuff, Ellis. Yeah. But yeah, maybe not the ultimate masterpiece that everyone else says it is in my eyes, but fuck me, I love it. Still one of my favorites, and ingenious filmmaking in many ways.
Would you say it's Fincher's best film?
Nah. Fight Club for me, definitely.
Right. Yeah.
See, I wasn't a total fanboy. I didn't say. Yeah, fair. I wasn't a total fanboy. I didn't say Alien 3. See that? Which is still one of my favorite Fincher films. I can't help it. But yeah, that definitely. Yeah, Seven is pretty close to being my favorite of his, though. Pretty close. It is a remarkable film.
He's got that many good films. It's hard to pick, man.
Yeah. There's plenty of his stuff I'm not a fan of. I don't like Benjamin Button. I respect it though. Wasn't much of a fan of.
I think I'm on a small island with that one though. I know it's not his most popular.
Well, I'm not much of a fan of the game either. And I'm sorry, dude. I recently 2 days ago I watched the Social Network. Finally, didn't do much for me either.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know.
You know what? I think that film will not age, and we'll look back on that film in 50 years' time and think that film was like looked at the downfall of our society, basically. Just, I don't mean don't look at it as just Facebook. Look at it as in like a social media aspect. I know that's rich coming from a person who we've met on social media. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. But I see what you mean, though, dude. I see it.
Yeah. That's a fucking horror film in its own right, and I think it is, man. And yeah, I love that film, Social Network, and I didn't when I first watched it. It's been one that's like really grew, and I think as the years go on, and the more Zuckerbergs we have on the planet, and the more of these like almost nihilistic billionaires, like. I don't know. It's a horror film in its own right, I would say.
No, it wasn't really much for me, but I did appreciate some bits in it. However, I fucking adore Gone Girl. That one did a lot for me.
There's an argument that could be made that could go on this list, to be fair.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. Remarkable film, dude. Remarkable film. And fuck it, she deserved the Oscar. Shame she didn't get it, but hey,
she would fuck up most people on both our lists. She really would.
Yeah. So yeah, number 11 had to be done. I had to. I could have put the second one on here, but simply put, the first one just does it for me so much more. In fact, I should have put the second one here as an honorable mention. Sam Raimi's The Evil Dead. So yeah, I know elements of it have aged a lot, but I still think that's what actually adds to the charm of it, if I'm honest with you.
So you going number 1 or number 2?
Number 1, dude. Definitely prefer it over number 2, and that's an unpopular opinion. Yeah, it's an unpopular opinion, but I always have done, just because I thought it was just a bit more effective. So, by the way, for anyone listening, I am a big fan of the sequels, obviously. I absolutely love the second one. Third one I love as well. I just find it strange that they each delete the previous film's ending and go for different moods each time. That's
I
weird.
like that about it, though. I think it makes it...
Me too.
Original, Yeah,
it's weird. I like it, but I don't. It's weird. I don't know, but I'm a fan of it. And plus, the show Ash vs. Evil Dead was remarkable. And dude, I'm even
everyone who's said they've watched Ash, the the program. It said it's phenomenal. I feel like I need to get on that, to be honest, because I am a fan of the Evil Dead franchise. But
yeah, it is pretty much remarkable. I just get confused as to what it's trying to sequelize because it does constantly call back to the previous films, but they all keep contradicting themselves, and it gets confusing for me. I don't get it. Still, it's Bruce Campbell being remarkable. It is kind of creepy when it wants to be. The action scenes are great, loads of great practical effects, blood and guts. It's funny as fuck on purpose. It's great. For example, there is a quick scene where he has his whole body shoved up a deadite's ass, and you can still see his head like through the hole in the stomach of the dead body, and he's going nuts and shit. But it's funny. It's so over the top and funny. I even dig, just like you, I dig the remake. The remake's good, man. Remake's well done. And I even like plenty of the video games. So I am a big fan of the overall franchise. It means a lot to me. But the first one was always my favorite. And it wasn't the first one I watched. First one I watched was the second one. But when I just get around to it, the first one just means the most to me. And you know what? On a personal level, I'm going to bring a little bit of myself into this here. The reason why it means so fucking much to me is because of just how much it put me on this creative path at a young age. Now, just going to completely simplify it. I was 13 years old when I saw it, and that was when I realized I did want to do something with film. I eventually stopped going down that path and went down the path of music, as did you. I started studying music and stuff. So I took like a 13, 14-year hiatus with film. But before I was doing all that, I was picking up a camcorder, trying to make these cheesy little films as a teen. Evil Dead inspired that because it was the first fucking time I had ever heard of low-budget films. I did not know a load of like inexperienced kids could get a load of money together and then try and make these films. It's weird. It was made for like what, $250,000. A lot of money, of course, but peanuts for a movie.
they're like the best student films that have ever been made. Do you know what I mean? Like
exactly.
Yeah, Sam Raimi really did a lot with nothing with them films. Army of Darkness was the first one I watched.
Wow.
And I seen that quite an impressional. Yeah, it's a great film to watch when you're younger. Like, it's awesome. Like, I think love it. Evil Dead. For me, I appreciate the first Evil Dead more than what I enjoy watching it. Evil Dead 2 is where that's the golden ticket. But we might get onto an Evil Dead film pretty soon on my list.
Cool, man. Yeah, dude, there's long shot scenes where there was no dialogue and stuff. And in the first one, just the tension, the noises, the sound effects, the whole like panels going by with the camera, and you hear this weird whoop 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 effect. It's all so creepy, weird. And I studied that film like it gave me oxygen back then. I rewatched it over and over again with different commentaries on like learning how they did certain things and stuff. Just addicted to it. It did so much for me, man, and I owe that film a lot. Still think it's effective as fuck. Still a big fan of it. It's very cliched now, but fuck me, it started a load of the cliches. It means everything to me, and I think it's a masterpiece. Yeah, plain and simple.
There's not many filmmakers out there that can go and remake their first film. Like, for me, like, that's what Evil Dead 2 is. It's a remake of the first Evil Dead, but just with a extra splash more of comedic tone involved. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's good, man.
Yeah, the short film that they made to get funding for Evil Dead 1, a lot of the stuff in there did not make it into Evil Dead. But it was all put in Evil Dead 2 though. So a lot of
was it? Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think it was called Within the Woods or something.
Right,
yeah. Cool. It's cool, man.